I'm Con Green, and this is Low Budget Crash Course World History. Today we'll be talking about the wondrous trade city of Tenochtitlan, the center of the Aztec Empire, for about 200 years. That is, until the Spanish arrived. A lot changed when the Spanish arrived.
Mr. Green!
What, me from the past?
Why couldn't the Aztec owl hear what the other two owls were saying? Because they were in cahoots.
Tenochtitlan was located in modern-day Mexico City, which is situated in the now shallow Lake Texcoco, and was the bustling metropolis center of the Aztec Empire, which was one of the most powerful empires of the New World. At its peak during the 15th century, Tenochtitlan was the largest city in all of pre-Columbian Mexico, with its reach extending over much of Central America. The origin of Tenochtitlan had a vast impact on Aztec society, and the story of Tenochtitlan's founding is even represented on the Mexican flag. Now onto the contemplation cloud.
After leaving their home city of Azteclan around the year 1000, the Aztecs wandered much of northwestern Mexico and the Mexican Valley in search of a new home for their people. During these wanderings, Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war, the sun, and human sacrifice, sent a vision to an Aztec priest in which he said that when the Aztecs found an eagle sitting on a cactus while devouring a serpent, they would build a new city in that spot and name it Tenochtitlan.
In the years following its founding, Tenochtitlan was a successful city and was heavily into religious ceremonies. The Aztec city of Tenochtitlan flourished because of their tribute system and control in the region. Now on to our in-field correspondent, Dr. Venkatachalam, to get an in-depth view of the heyday of Tenochtitlan.
I'm standing outside the Pueblo Playhouse, a famous monument located in Tenochtitlan. The heyday of Tenochtitlan started in about 1471 with the union of Tenochtitlan and Tlatelolco, another powerful city-state in the region. Now, the heyday of this trade city lasted until about 1520. Popular agricultural goods located in Tenochtitlan included maize, squash, and beans, while tomatoes also remained popular among the people. Now, these agricultural goods were often gathered in the fields surrounding Tenochtitlan and gathered as tribute for the Aztec state. Other than agricultural products, other popular products included metals such as copper, silver, gold, and obsidian. Now, these metals and precious jewels were often used in Aztec jewelry for ornamenting purposes. In fact, these jewels and precious metals were so abundant that by the time Hernan Cortes came with his conquistadors, it was said that they had gathered over 8,000 pounds of gold and silver. This abundance of precious metals and jewels made Tenochtitlan a powerful trade city in the region of the Central Valley. Popular trade systems within the city included the bartering system, where popular goods included animal skins and cacao. Now, the wealth of Tenochtitlan led the famous Emperor Montezuma to sacrifice over 20,000 people, proclaiming, "Blood for the sun god." Now back to what I was saying. Although Tenochtitlan did not participate much in long-distance trade, they did trade with the Pochtecan merchants located in northern Central America. When the Spanish came in 1520, they sacked the city of Tenochtitlan and caused the natives to destroy their own home, thus effectively ending the Aztec Empire and the heyday of Tenochtitlan along with it. Now back to Don Green for more.
Tenochtitlan was composed of many ethnicities, most notably the Mexica and other subjugated ethnicities who spoke the common language of the Nahuatl. However, when the Spanish came and conquered Tenochtitlan, the ethnic composition was vastly changed. In fact, according to the latest census available, published shortly after World War I, more than 54% of the city's population was mestizo, 23% was European, and only 19% were wholly indigenous. The heyday of Tenochtitlan was ended by Hernan Cortes and the Spanish conquistadors, who riddled the city with disease and took control of the majestic city in less than 2 years, renaming it to La Ciudad de Mexico, or as we say in English, Mexico City. Before the Spanish, the Aztecs were known for their religious human sacrifices and their plethora of gods. However, when the Spanish came, the ceremonial Aztec religion was effectively ended and the Spanish converted the population to Roman Catholicism. This was a direct product of the Reconquista and the Spanish crusading zeal. Oh, it's time for the Ajar Memorandum.
An Ajar Memorandum to the Catholic Church. But first, let's see what's in the secret compartment today. Oh, it's a crucifix. Back, demons! And Dr. Venkatachalam! Dear Catholic Church, while today you are the #1 charitable institution in the world, back in the 1500s, you were pretty uncool. I mean, think about it. You sent a bunch of people over to the Americas to convert people there to Christianity, and you betrayed your own Christian ideas and enslaved a bunch of people using the encomienda system, And that is all because you couldn't stop killing Muslims, presumably because they helped supply you with a bunch of technological advances. And if that were not enough, you fought against the Protestant Reformation, locked up famous and important scientists, and tried to stop the Enlightenment and Renaissance ideas from spreading. All in all, although you provided spiritual guidance to the world of Christian faith, you also motivated one of the largest waves of imperialism in human history. With best wishes, Congreve.
Although the lifespan of Tenochtitlan was unfortunately cut short, its legacy and effect still lives on today. In fact, Mexico City, a city built on the ruins of Tenochtitlan, is one of the most populous cities in the world, home to around 9 million people. Tenochtitlan and the Aztec empires were major powers in the isolated region of central North America, whose lack of contact ultimately led to their downfall.
This show is hosted by Kieran Means, who played Don Green and was our scriptwriter. Special thanks to our correspondent, Dr. Akshay Venkatachalam, our chief videographer, who played me from the past. Special thanks to our in-house musician, Mark Benkert, playing Con Green and being our chief editor. Thanks to various members of the library study group for gifting their time and various help, such as Sophia Franz. Thanks to our Contemplation Cloud creative team, Kieran Means, Mark Benkert, and Akshay Venkatachalam. And lastly, this show is written with knowledge provided by our fantastic world history teacher, Mrs. Pugh. Thanks for watching, and as we say in our hometown, don't forget to be awesome.